It's an old New Orleans song. Down the road come a Junko Partner. He was loaded as he could be. He was knocked out loaded. He was loaded with misery. Singing 6 months ain't no sentence. I don't wanna yell, ain't no time. I was born in Angola. I was serving 99. Once I had $1 million. Had a lot of good friends all around. Now I ain't got no money, and my best friend has all put me down. Down the road, down the road, down the road. I come a Junko Partner. He was loaded as he could be. He was knocked out loaded, and he was singing this song to me. Give me whiskey when I'm thirsty. Give me mighty good beer when I'm dry. Give me tincture when I'm sickly. Give me a heaven when I die. Down the road, down the road, down the road. I come a Junko Partner. He was loaded as he could be. He was knocked out loaded, and he was a wobbling all over the street. Junko Partner. He was loaded as he could be. He was knocked out loaded. He was loaded with misery. There you go, Junko Partner.
I have a number of things to say, but first we're going to hear Junko Partner. And now we're back. Gotcha. Okay, now we're back. I hope you like that song. I'm crazy about that song. I first heard Steve Weber do it in 1964. In 1964. Steve Weber of the Holy Modal Rounders did that tune, and I still include some of the quirks and eccentricities that he put on what was already a quirky and eccentric New Orleans hit from the early 50s. Another tune I'm going to throw into the hat is Bullfrog Blues by William Harris. William Harris didn't record a whole lot of things. He recorded about 16 songs in his entire career, more than some, it's true. But so little is known about him, and there are no pictures of him. But he did a great version of Bullfrog Blues. And I have the recording at home. And of course, I've changed it. Things come through me, they change. Of course, every guy who ever did Hamlet changed the role in some way. I guess you can't help but change something. But it's really interesting, I think, to watch somebody try not to change something. Now, in the old days, we had the top 40 bands. Everybody was a top 40 band. You played whatever they were listening on the radio. Okay, you played whatever they were listening to on the radio, but you got your band to try and sound like it. There are still bands like this. There are also people who are just DJs. They just play the song, and they say, look what I did. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm into the live DJ thing. You ever see a bar that says live DJ? I love that. It's a oxymoron. It's interesting that oxymoron has the word moron in it. We don't affiliate ourselves with the people who call other people morons. No, that's got nothing to do with it. No, an oxymoron is very different. It's different from oxycodone. It's different from morons. It's different from a lot of things. Oxymoron is just like extra large shrimp. Okay, that's enough about that. William Harris, Bullfrog Blues, Ho, Ho, Ho.
Have you ever walked up where bullfrogs on you, bullfrogs on your, I mean mind? Have you ever woke up, bullfrogs on your mind? Have you ever woke up with bullfrogs on your mind? When I left you standing in your back door, in your back door, I mean crying when I left you standing in your back door crying. Well, I left you standing in your back door crying. Oh, look here, partner, see what you done, see what you done. I mean to me, well, looky here, partner, won't you see what you done to me? Oh, looky here, partner, won't you see what you done to me? Gonna tell you this time, and I ain't gonna tell you no, ain't gonna tell you no, I mean more gonna tell you this time, and I ain't gonna tell you no more. Gonna tell you this time, I ain't gonna tell you no more. Oh, the sun gonna shine in my back door, son, my back door, son. I mean, day, well, the sun gonna shine my back door someday. Oh, the sun gonna shine in my back door someday. Got the bullfrog blues and can't be satisfied, can't be satisfied. I'm in fire. Got the bullfrog blues and I can't be satisfied. Got the bullfrog blues and I can't be satisfied.
Couple more songs coming up. But first I want to tell you about influences. Eddie Hinton, Blink. It's really good to find out about people you don't know about who are great. They did not make all this much money. They may not have had much of a career, but they helped people have great careers. Eddie Hinton played in the Muscle Shoals rhythm section. And I have 6 of his albums. He was wonderful. He was an incredible Southern singer. You would never know if he was white or black by hearing him sing. Well, tell you the truth, you would think he was black. But he was great. He wrote many things, Breakfast in Bed. He wrote, what was that other one that was one of his biggest hits? Cover Me. He worked on a lot of things. When you hear the Staple Singers do Respect Yourself or I'll Take You There, you are hearing a complex interplay of the Muscle Shoals rhythm section. They did the basic tracks, sent it to Stax Records, where they redid the vocal, and they added horns and did stuff. But the reason they're so mesmerizing and effective is because of people like Eddie Hinton. He worked on a number of things. There's a great album called Toots in Memphis, which is Toots and the Maytals, and it's reggae, and he does a lot for that album too. And now I will look down.
You know your railroad gate, I just can't jump it. Sometimes it gets so hard, you see. Now I'm just sitting here, beating on my trumpet, with all these promises you love for me. Wondering where you were tonight, sweet Marie. Well, I waited for you when I was half sick. Waited for you when you hated me. Well, I waited for you inside of the frozen traffic, when you knew I had some other place to be. Tell me where you are tonight, sweet Marie. Now anybody can be just like me, obviously. Then again, not too many people can be like you, fortunately. All the 6 white horses that you did promise were finally delivered down to the penitentiary. Oh, but to live outside the law, you must be honest. I know you always say that you agree. All right then, so where are you tonight, sweet Marie? Where are you tonight, sweet Marie?
Reckless Eric, he's great. I'll think of his last name any second. Eric Goulden. Reckless Eric was one of the stiff stars in the late 70s and early 80s. Elvis Costello was the biggest. But Reckless Eric was terrific and is still terrific. He's with Amy Rigby now. Do you know Amy Rigby? They're a couple now. And they met when he got on stage with her. She was doing his biggest hit, The Whole Wide World. And he got on stage and she said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I wrote this. This is my song." And she went, "Wow, you're Reckless Eric?" and they wound up becoming a couple, and they've been together for years. Isn't that a great story?
I only see my uncle when the circus comes to town, 'cause all year long he travels with the show. He's fond of telling people he's a broken-hearted clown, but if his heart is sad, you wouldn't know. In fact, he seems quite happy as he rides the circuit around to places where you never see the snow. He likes to go to parties where the beer is flowing free. He's always looking for somewhere to go. Maybe when I'm older he will teach his tricks to me. That's the only thing I want to know. And maybe if I'm good, he'll take me with him on that train to places where you never see the snow. Happy years, my life has not been wasted, this I know. For though my father cursed me and my mother shed her tears, I left my home to join the circus show. And I still hear the laughter of the children in my dreams of places where you never see the snow. Places where you never see the snow. Argent. No one told me about her, the way she lied. No one told me about her, how many people cried. Too late to say you're sorry. How should I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she'd act and the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there. What could I do? No one told me about her. Oh, they all knew. Well, it's too late to say you're sorry. How could I know? Or why should I care? Please don't bother trying to not there. Let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, and the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there. And we'll skip the electric piano solo, which is a great solo. I have the 4 CD zombie box set. It's called Zombie Heaven. And if you like the zombies, look into it. It's great. I was lucky to find a copy cheap, of course. Probably out of print by now. But it's wonderful. Zombie Heaven. Yes, the Zombies were a great group. The other side of the singles were always written by the bass player, Chris White. So this is the other side. You don't need any reason, do you, baby? Surely you should know that by now. But if you need a reason, I'll give one to you. You make me feel good. You make me feel good. I don't need any reason when I hold you. And I never do ask myself why. But if you need a reason, I'll give one to you. Oh yeah, you make me feel good. You make me feel good. So good, so good. Don't have to justify why I feel so good, so good, so good. I never thought it could be so good to me. But if you need a reason, I'll give one to you. You make me feel good. You make me feel good. And I really must dedicate that to Kate Peachman, because she's a bigger zombie fanatic than I am, and she introduced me to Zombie Heaven. She took me to Zombie Heaven. For the man who can't have everything, when you have to choose an item, what consolation can you bring when all you do is remind him? For the man who can't have everything, that's what makes him noble. He deserves all the luck in the world and none of the trouble. For the man who can't have everything, for the man who can't have everything, at least he has his dreams, and the is rarely what it seems. For the man who can't have everything, he's earned our sympathy. He pays for all our sins and the bills arrive monthly. For the man who can't have everything, for the man who can't have everything.
I wish I knew more about the Macarena. I have found out more about the Macarena than I ever knew before. You should see that on YouTube. It's very interesting. The video is dominated by young, impossibly skinny models, girls, and that alternates with actual footage of the actual people who made the actual record, who are two older Spanish guys, standing close together on a big stage, or at least it has a curtain behind it. And it is just great. I can't tell you how much respect I have for the Macarena. And it has nothing to do with it being I mean, I have no respect for the chicken dance, but I do have a lot of respect for the Macarena. I think it's, well, as I was telling my daughter the other day, the important thing is how long the phrase is. I can't get this through to some people I'm jamming with lately enough. The long phrases are what make it interesting. And just to to sum up something, everybody, I'm sure you all know the Macarena. If you don't, look on YouTube and see it now. But if you were around 20 years ago, when I was making an album with my rock and roll band, I went, Jesus, I want every song to kick like the Macarena. I want there to be a reason for people to listen to these tunes, not just that we wrote them. Okay, off the subject here. The thing about the Macarena is it goes, hey, Macarena. And that is so great. It's just brilliant. They take this thing that just goes boopy doopy doop and they make it into a gigantic long phrase. Okay, all you music scholars, take this to heart. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, folks, friends. Welcome to show 52 of Messing Around with Charlie Messing. A somewhat ironic title, somewhat truthful, plain and simple title. Messing around was a phrase I hated because it grated for a long time. Now I embrace it, as I would embrace all of you in turn if you were here in the flesh.